Good morning, everyone. My name is Beth, and I'm with the Education Alliance. At the Education Alliance, we work to connect businesses and community partners with public schools across West Virginia. And our goal is to help students discover career possibilities and build the skills and confidence they need for life after graduation. And one of the ways that we do that is through our virtual work-based learning program, which gives students direct access to professionals and industries that they may not otherwise experience. Let's get started, and I'm excited to hear from Morgan. I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you. All right. Good morning, guys. Like Beth said, my name is Morgan Hunt. I'm trying to make you bigger over here so I can see you all. Oh, there we go. Okay. And I'm going to present a little bit today on being an accountant CPA. So my presentation is Discover Your Future. So to start off, we are going to, and I'm going to stop sharing. Whoopsie. We are going to just talk about your career aspirations. So take a second to think about what you have thought about as your dream job. If it's a specific company you want to work for, or a specific job title that you want to be, or certain responsibilities. So what would be your dream job? And I would love to hear from you all if you would be willing to share. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I would love to hear from you all. I think
What's your dream job, guys? What's your dream job? Zach, what's yours?
what was it?
Engineering.
Engineering. Nice. Lots of math. Any other ones?
Any other?
Does
dream
anybody
job?
want to go into business, or do you want to own a business? Do you want to be like bookkeeping or accounting? Don't be shy. Come on, guys.
Braden, what are you going into? Physical therapy.
Physical therapy, that's cool. Nursing, anybody want to do nursing?
Nursing.
Well, if you haven't thought about it, what year are you all?
Most of them are seniors.
Seniors. Okay, well, you guys are about to be thrown out there. So, if you haven't thought about it, give accounting or business a thought, and we'll go more into it in my presentation. So, let me share again. Okay, you can see my screen okay? Oops. There we go. Okay. So, well, when I was your age, when I was a senior in high school, I was doing a lot of research. I had done business classes. I had, grown up in a business oriented family. My uncle and aunt owned a business, and I worked for them, and small business oriented. So I had a lot of, mentors and role models that showed me what growing up in small business was like, and I really liked it. And I did the accounting classes, and I really liked those too. I liked math, and so I just gravitated towards accounting as well. And I also did a lot of research on a website. I'm not sure if it's still around. I don't even remember the name of it, but it was a West Virginia based website, and it had a lot of different career options and research available on it. And so I scrolled through this website, and I looked for the highest paying job because, I grew up in a single mom household. Money was always tight, and I just didn't like it. I wanted to change that for myself and for my future family. And so I looked for the highest paying job, which happened to be CEO, uh, which is very broad. If you're not sure, CEO stands for Chief Executive Officer. It really just means like a big boss of a company, not specific or anything. But it paid the highest on this website, and I was like, okay, that's me. I'm going to do it. I'm not a CEO, and I could be. My education and my career could lead that direction if I wanted to, but right now I'm happy where I am, and I do hope to be a partner where I am at some point, which is almost like a CEO. So we're not too far off, and we might get there. But that's my high school experience and my research that I did when I was your age. So I highly encourage you all to do that same research and kind of figure out what you um, are interested in. But of the careers you all mentioned, what do they have in common? Does anybody have any guesses on that? Like underlying, very base level, what do they have in common? Engineering, physical therapy, nursing, money. They all have money in common, money and accountants. And I get to work with those types of people every day. I work with a wide base of clients from, small business owners to large business owners, from nurses and doctors and physical therapists to engineers or architects. We work with all kinds of people, and we help them with their financial needs and their taxes and consulting work that they need help with, and kind of what to do with their money and how to save money. So I get to do that as a CPA. So, what do you all do when you get money? Have you all ever, received money for Christmas or a holiday or birthday? Do you all know specifically how much money like you have in savings, like in a little wallet somewhere? You keep track of that. If you do chores, or you might have jobs, you are your own personal accountant when it comes to your money. You keep track of it, you spend it, or you might save it, and you know how much you have. So you're kind of an accountant already. But this is what I do with businesses. I help businesses manage their money. I help them save money. I don't really do a lot with investing. I do help them, save money on the tax end, or organize it. So that's what I do as an accountant. So an accountant is defined as a person whose job it is to keep, inspect, and analyze financial accounts. And this can be a very confusing aspect for people who aren't, an accountant, or, specialize in something else. But money is a part of every job. So everybody has to have some kind of base understanding of it. But as an accountant, I specialize in it. So what do accountants do? We are the money organizers. Just like you might use a calendar to keep track of your homework, or your locker to organize your stuff, accountants organize financial information. They know how much money a person or a business makes and spends to ultimately determine whether a business is making or losing money. We're also problem solvers. So we can be like detectives, and we use numbers to find and fix money issues. Like in the event money is missing, we can detect suspicious activity or transactions and look for irregularities that, somebody else might not realize look a little funny. We help individuals and businesses make big financial decisions, like saving for college, or buying a new store, or applying for a new loan to take a new venture. So I'm going to go into a little bit about me personally. I work for a business called Suttle Stalnaker. I am a tax manager at Suttle Stalnaker. I've worked with Suttle Stalnaker since 2017, so about 9 years. I prepare tax returns for individuals and for businesses and nonprofits. And so I get to work with a lot of different people across a wide range of different industries. And that's kind of why it's my dream job. It's my dream job because I get to work directly with people and help them understand their finances and their taxes. I like to help people, and I know that this can be a very confusing aspect of life for people. So I like to help them understand it. So what my career and job has allowed me to do, I have a great work-life balance. I have two kids, and they're both in, one's 4 and one's 11. And so they're both doing sports, and I get to have the balance of working and leaving my job when I need to go, haul them around to different areas, to practices and different games. I get to, I have appointments or, programs with school. I have that balance of working and being able to head out to those things that some other career options don't get. I get to participate with the West Virginia Society of CPAs, which is it's an organization of CPAs that we try to get together every once in a while to catch up and to learn about industry issues or to help with legislative issues that might arise about the CPA certification. I get to travel for trainings. I've been to Las Vegas twice because of my career for a conference out there, and it was a lot of fun to travel out there. I've never been to Las Vegas or Nevada, to that side of the country, so that was really fun. I've also been to Georgia for work and a lot of different places, which is great. Accounting and CPAs, we have constant learning and growth. And so, a lot of jobs do. It's not just my job, but the financial world and rules are always changing. And so learning and staying on top of those things is part of my job. And I actually like that because it keeps my mind turning and looking for new ways and things to do with clients. So I also get to meet and work with people in various industries. I've, toured a local bakery that mass produces pepperoni rolls because they're a client, and gotten pepperoni rolls fresh off the baking line. I've also been in airplanes for clients, or been on the rooftops of buildings doing inventory observations for like assets that they have, to make sure that those are real assets and that it's not like fake or anything. So I get to work with a wide variety of people and businesses, which is really cool to me. It's not the same every single day. So about me, like I said, I'm a tax manager at Suttle Stalnaker. I am a certified public accountant, and that's a little bit different than just an accountant. I have a undergraduate degree from WVU, a master's degree, and then I took these 4 exams that are really hard, and they give me the designation of a CPA. Well, I have 3 kids. I have a stepson too. I have my daughter, Hannah, and my son, Cyrus, and my stepson, Branston, and my husband. We live in Brewston Mills, but I work in Morgantown. I commute in. We're over there in West Virginia. I know you guys are over on the Ohio side of the state, so we're not too far away from you. I went to Morgantown High School, which is a local high school here in Morgantown. And then I went to WVU for my education, for my undergraduate degree and my master's degree. So a little bit about Suttle Stalnaker. We were founded in 1973. And when I say it's an accounting firm, that means that we have clients and we serve the public. And so we have clients that are individuals who just want their tax return prepared, or we have business clients who need help with payroll or reconciling their bank statements. And we also have even bigger clients that need audits, like colleges or government entities, or even bigger businesses. So we have a very wide array of clients. We are employee focused, and we realize that our employees are our greatest asset. And so they really try to invest in us and to care and to give us that work-life balance that we think people thrive with. We're niche driven, which means that we have specific industries that we work in, and we'll go into that on the next slide a little bit more, but we have kind of a specialty in those industries. We provide solutions to our clients instead of just identifying the problems. We want to solve the issue at the root. And we're a local firm with national and regional resources. We have 4 offices. We're in Morgantown, Charleston, Huntington, and Parkersburg. So we're kind of all over the states. Our Charleston office is our main office, and that's where Suttle Stalnaker started. So our niches, our areas of specialties are auto dealerships, construction, energy and natural resources. We work with a lot of banks for financial institutions. We do audits of those. Government and nonprofits. So government can also include like schools, state universities. We audit those. I've also worked on audits of county commissions, interesting things like that. Healthcare and private practices is another area. And then client and accounting services, accounting and advisory services, that's our bookkeeping, payroll, specific services like that. So career security, accounting it's a large career, and it will continue and grow and be a very important career option for in the future. So these are 2025 statistics. I couldn't find 2026 statistics. I'm so sorry, guys. But in 2025, they expected $131,000 jobs to be created in 2025, which is awesome. That's a ton of jobs out there. $661 billion in expected revenue growth for the accounting services in 2025. And it's the 11th best business job according to the U.S. News and World Report. You can also do a lot of different things if you go into accounting. It's not just CPA, tax returns types of things. I had lots of different speakers throughout college who, said that their degree was accounting, but then they went into HR or managed people, or they went into owning like a car dealership or something. It's very broad in what you can do. It's just a understanding of your finances and money that give you an advantage, really. So you can do a lot of different things with accounting in general. So there's a ton of career security in accounting because 75% of all CPAs will reach retirement age in the next few years. There were a lot of CPAs that were baby boomers, and those baby boomers are reaching the retirement age now. And so we're losing a huge part of our workforce. And so we need to fill that with new CPAs. And that's why it's a great career option, because there's going to be jobs out there for them. There's also been students choosing accounting less within the past several years, which is unfortunate, but I think people have looked to other career options, or accounting has just kind of slipped into the background, which we're trying to fight back on. CPA exam candidates have slipped from 50,000 in 2010 to 32,000 in 2021. And the CPA, you can get a college degree in accounting, and the CPA is an optional after college certification. And so you are not required to get the CPA to do accounting, but it is an extra certification that means you understand things more and have a better grasp on it. And it also means more money in the future, but it is really hard. So it takes a lot to get there. In the career, working remotely is now pretty normal in the profession. We have remote employees in West Virginia and out of state. So we give that option to people who have the ability to work remote and that focus. There are a lot of different job options, like I said a little bit earlier, for accounting. There's public accounting, which is what I work in, where we help the public, which has audit, tax, and bookkeeping services. There are various other industries. You can work for the school systems have accountants. The Board of Educations have accountants that allocate money or move money and organize it for the schools. Hospitals have accountants. Engineers have accountants at their businesses to keep track of money as well. So they're everywhere. They're not just in public accounting. But these are kind of things that I do in my public accounting. I work closely with my clients and staff. I lead them through life-altering events. I gain their trust. And then, each day can bring a new challenge with issues that they might have that just pop up. And then eventually I will have the option to become a partner in my firm, and which is like a boss, like a CEO type thing, and gives me ownership opportunity in the firm. Okay, so first job expectations in accounting. Accounting has a strong starting salary for West Virginia. We have great benefits packages, not just with Suttle and Stalnaker, but in other industries, there are great benefit options out there. We personally work on challenging engagements. So like I said, you can work on audits and audit schools or organizations. Sometimes that requires some travel where you can work out at a client's office, or sometimes we can work on that remotely in the office, but you get to work with different people and different clients. Our hours do vary. So I'm a tax accountant, and so I just got done working a lot of hours for tax season because, taxes are due April 15th. And so we were working like 55, 60-hour weeks until April 15th. And now that that's over, I've really backed off to like 40 hours, like a normal working job. But I think any industry, most jobs have a busy season. And so, especially in accounting, it's just part of our job. There's a busier time for when people need all of the financial information organized and finalized, and that's our busier time. We have flexible working arrangements here at Suttle and Stalnaker. Like I said, you can work remotely, you can work hybrid where you're in the office a couple of days or home a couple of days. I also work a reduced schedule because I'm a mom, so I don't always work 40 hours a week. Sometimes I work a little bit less. There's lots of education and personal growth at Suttle and Stalnaker. Like I said, I've traveled to Las Vegas a couple of times for trainings, which was really awesome. I never would have been able to go there without that working here and getting to go to those conferences. And then personal growth, you get to work with awesome people and leaders who kind of guide you into leadership roles and how to be a great leader. And then, like I said earlier, we are involved with the Society of CPAs. This salary graphic is possibly a little outdated too. I couldn't find a new one. I don't know where we got this one from. Probably Robert Half, but a good median salary for West Virginia for accountants for first-time jobs is about $61,000, which is a really good starting salary for West Virginia. Does anybody have any questions on that? Or anything so far? Okay. So before I became a tax manager, I was in.
Sorry, we had a question. He raised his hand instead of.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You're little on my screen.
How can accounting help a small farm or agricultural business to be more profitable?
That's a really good question. I don't have a lot of farming clients, and I don't know a whole lot about farming, expenses and stuff. Farming in general is a difficult industry. Um, I think what we could look at for farmers, um, we could look at your expenses and kind of see where things stand and where could things be cut back, which I know is hard in farming. There's lots of expenses. That's one way to look at it. There are some tax advantages if they buy equipment. We can write things off over time, or we can write things off all at once and kind of help offset some income and taxes. I think there are some tax credits and opportunities there for farmers specifically because of the industry. But, it's really important as farmers and agriculture to understand your money as well, which isn't really the priority. You're farming, you're raising the cattle, you're moving things, you're, cutting the hay or the harvesting the crops. That your priority isn't really focusing on where your money is or how much you have or where it's going. It's your business. And so it's important to also have that understanding of your money so that you're not losing all the time or losing it. So it's good to have the understanding or to have a relationship with an accountant. Any other questions?
What are some of the common tax deductions businesses should know about?
Wait, I'm sorry, what was that?
What are some common tax deductions that businesses should know about?
Common tax?
Deductions.
Oh, depreciation. So does anybody know what depreciation is? No. Okay. So depreciation. So like if you're a business owner and you go buy a car in the business name, it's a business car, you're going to use it for your business. Cars are pretty expensive, right? They're like 30, 40, $50,000 if you get a really nice one or a big truck or something. You finance the truck. And so that means you got a loan, you pay a loan on it. You don't get to deduct that loan payment from, your income or that year. So we have something called depreciation for assets that are very expensive like that. And depreciation is like a calculated portion of the cost of that asset that we get to deduct each year, or there are special depreciation rules where we could deduct the whole asset that year. So if you buy a $40,000 vehicle, you could deduct almost $40,000 that year, even though you may not have paid off the vehicle yet or, in the future. So taking depreciation on assets. We generally look at things that are over $2,500. That's something to keep in mind for businesses. Okay. Anything else?
Do you help businesses make better financial decisions?
We try to. A lot of the times because I'm taxed, I'm after the fact, I'm after the decisions have been made. And so sometimes they don't think to ask me those things beforehand. But we definitely try to, if we are after the fact, we're like, hey, next time, reach out to us. Let's look at this. But sometimes people do come beforehand, before big decisions are made. And we do help them. We can run projections on, how income looked previously, how we kind of expect it to look in the future. And then some options that could change that. Do they plan to buy a new truck? Do they plan to buy a new tractor? How would that depreciation expense change the next year? How does their net income look for the next year, and how does that kind of factor into taxes? Are they making a lot of money? Do we need to make estimated payments to the IRS to cover those taxes so that they don't get hit with a big bill at the end? Or do they expect to be losing money and we can kind of cut back on those estimated taxes that they've been paying? Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
What happens if a business does not manage its taxes correctly?
Oh, those are really fun conversations to have with clients. And you know, businesses and individuals. So it can happen to both. I've had clients who, you know, take money from their retirement before they hit retirement age, and that gets penalized. And so it gets hit with extra taxes. And so they might take out $20,000 out of their retirement in a year, and then they'll get hit with like a $5,000 tax bill at the end of the year because they're penalized and they don't realize that. So note now, you know, when you start a real job and you start contributing to retirement, that money is in there for a reason, and it's supposed to stay in there until you're almost 60. And if you try to take money out of it early, you're going to pay higher taxes on it. So just remember that. You know, we also have clients who kind of don't realize how much money they make. And so then they don't make estimated payments on those things or during the year. And then when we work on their taxes and we're like, hey, you owe $50,000-$60,000 in taxes, they just feel like they got hit by a bus and had no idea, because I mean, some people don't grasp how much money they're really making. So it can be tough. And those are the issues where like we see it after the fact. Whereas like if we had those conversations earlier, we could have been like, hey, you're making a lot of money. Let's pay a quarterly estimated payment to the IRS so you're not hit with a big $50,000 tax bill in April. Any other questions?
I've got a question.
Okay.
What types of clients do you work with most often?
I work with, I mean, I guess I don't even think about this, but I do work with small businesses. You know, a majority of my clients are small businesses. I have a lot of rental businesses because we're in Morgantown and we have WVU here. So we have a lot of rental companies who have student housing. And those are fairly easy. You know, they have pretty similar income and deductions each year. I have some manufacturing, you know, like I said, the bakery with the pepperoni rolls. What else? Construction. There's a lot of construction businesses. And then we have a lot of like auto dealerships. I don't personally work on those a lot, but I know Suttle has those. Yeah. We'll keep going. I'll finish up and then we can go over more questions. Okay, guys? I appreciate it. Your questions are great questions. All right. 61,000 starting salary. Oh, I must have gone back by accident. So like I was saying, before I got here, I was in your shoes. I was a senior in high school. I loved math. I did really well in math. I loved it. I took business classes because of that, which accounting is similar to math, lots of math in it. I did the career research. I went through the website. I looked for the highest paying job because I wanted money. And I also had a small business background. I worked at my uncle's business. I watched them create a small business. And so I had that background and I really liked it. My education, I have a high school diploma, which you all will have soon too. From high school, I went to WVU and I got my undergraduate degree in accounting, and that took 4 years. And then I also took I took a master's degree in accounting, which it's not necessary anymore. They just passed a rule where we don't necessarily need that for accounting anymore. And then after my master's, I did the CPA, which is the Certified Public Accountant. which is a 4 exam certification, and it took me 2 years to get that certification. So it is a very difficult process, but very much worth it. Being a certified public accountant, it's just it's a step above having your college degree, and it means a lot. It means you have the education to help your clients. You have the experience, you have the ethics, because accounting is working with money, and sometimes people aren't honest with money, and it can lead to fraud or stealing, and so you have to be ethical in the accounting profession and to have that integrity. And then, CPA exam, it's a 4-part exam, so it's a lot to get through. So, do you have what it takes to become a CPA? Do you like puzzles? Do you like technology? Do you like working in teams? Do you like helping people? These are all part of accounting or being a CPA, and any aspect of that. If you like to do it, you could succeed in accounting. Okay, so action steps that you can take now. You're in, well, not necessarily now for high school, but you are in business classes. You can take accounting classes in high school. Sometimes you can take business classes. Business clubs or organizations sometimes are offered in high school. You can discuss accounting careers with your teachers, or like we are now, we're having this presentation now, so you're learning about it. And then you can also ask the adults in your life if they know any accountants, or if they are an accountant, what's it like? What are their days like? So in college, you can take accounting classes. You can join accounting clubs like Beta Alpha Psi. You can discuss accounting with your counselors in college or your academic advisors. You could reach out to accounting professors. You can find accounting internships, or you can talk to a CPA like me. We also offer internships in our Morgantown office. Well, all of our offices, but we offer internships. And then you can get involved with your local state CPA society, like the West Virginia Society of CPAs. The AICPA is also an organization out there for CPAs, and they have a free student membership, and they have lots of resources that go over, what accounting careers are like, CPA careers. They have scholarships out there to help pay for college if college is something you're interested in. So they can also help you build up your LinkedIn profile, which LinkedIn is like a professional social media for people who end up in the business world, or medical professionals type of social media like that, or owning a business. It's a great way to kind of network and to brand yourself. You can also receive guidance and tips for landing your first job. If you Google AICPA student memberships, you can easily find it. This website, it had a QR code on here, but it didn't work. So, and then there's also the Society CPAs for West Virginia, like I mentioned. We have student memberships, we have scholarships that you can apply for and receive money to help you with your education expenses. There's lots of participation. We're doing all kinds of events that people can come to, and it's just a great way to get involved in your state. This is just more AICPA student information that you can follow. Okay, so now we're gonna end with a little would you rather. And so I'm gonna ask would you rather, and I'll give you the options, and I'll say one option and you can raise your hand, and then the next option and you can raise your hand for that, okay? So would you rather work in a cube or travel for your job? So raise your hand if you'd rather work in a cube. Nobody? Would you rather travel for your job?
Can you repeat yourself?
Okay, we're playing would you rather. So would you rather work in a cube every day, or would you rather travel for your job? Travel? Travel. Okay, I get that. Most people would want to travel. They don't want to be in the office in a cube. All right, so would you rather work by yourself or work in a team? Raise your hand if you rather work by yourself. No? One? Yeah? It's fine. We can work by ourselves. And then who would rather work in a team? Okay. Okay, so would you rather investigate fraud or help save our planet? Raise your hand if you'd rather investigate fraud. Fraud is like stealing money most of the time. And then would you rather help save our planet? There you go. Good job. I love the participation. Okay, so would you rather track the money or tell a story? Raise your hand if you'd rather track, like if you'd rather find the money if it's gone missing or stolen or something. Okay. Or would you rather tell a story with the money?
Ew.
Okay. Would you rather work for a company or own your own business? So raise your hand if you'd rather work for a company. Okay, totally fine. Okay, raise your hand if you'd rather own your own business. Nice. Awesome. Okay, so what if I told you all of those options could be an accounting career? You can travel for your job. Like I said, I've traveled for training. I've also traveled for clients. I've traveled throughout West Virginia to go work at client offices. We've had other people who've traveled throughout the United States to go work for clients. You can work in a team. So when we travel for audits, we're normally traveling in a couple of people. And so we'll go work in a group setting with a client. You can also work at your desk. I'm here at my desk today. Yes, earlier this week I was at home. Or if you're traveling to a client's office, you might end up working in their conference room all day, which is totally fine. You can work by yourself, which sometimes I do. Sometimes I work with my coworkers on projects or tax returns. In accounting, you can investigate fraud. I don't really investigate fraud. It's not something I specialize in, so I kind of steer away from that. But there are specific accounting certifications and positions that you can just do fraud investigation. You can protect the environment. You can be an accountant for like I don't know, something that protects the environment. They need accountants too. They need people to apply for grants to help them, continue their mission of protecting the environment. Or, account for the money that they've spent protecting the environment. You can keep track of the money in accounting, and you could use finances to tell a story. I kind of use finances to tell a story with tax returns. That's kind of how we summarize a year and to see how much money they made or lost at the end of the year and how much taxes they might owe. You can work for a company like me. I work for Suttle Stalnaker. Or you can be your own boss. You can start your own business as an accountant. Or you can go in with somebody else to start a business as a partnership. Maybe they do something specific and then you're kind of the finance person for it. So all of those are options in accounting. It is a very vast career. Okay. Did you guys have any other questions?
Any question, guys? Scott has a question.
That's the beneficial part of your job.
Sorry, what was that?
What is the most beneficial part of your job?
I think the most beneficial part is that I feel important and I get to invest in myself through my job. And I feel like I'm growing and learning and becoming better every day. That's what I think is the most important.
Having an opportunity for growth and making a change in
Exactly.
people's lives, yeah. Any other questions, guys?
All right. Well, you guys are awesome. Here's my contact information. If you ever, need to reach out for questions on accounting, questions on college, questions on the CPA, questions on internships, this is my contact information. Feel free to reach out. These are our office locations. If you ever have any questions, do not be afraid. Take advantage of the resources that you all have. That is the best advice I can give you now and in the future, because we are here, and people like me are always willing to, help you all and lead you into the right direction. So I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak to you. And I hope you found some value in my presentation on accounting.
Thank you so much, Morgan. Thank you to the students. You had some really great questions. And Morgan, I learned a lot that I didn't even know. And I think it's always valuable to learn about the things that have to do with money, because regardless if that's the career you go into, it's still important to know. And I love that financial literacy portion of this as well. So as always, you can access this recording and all the other business recordings that we have done through Work-Based Learning on our website, educationalliance.org/work-based learning. Thank you. Morgan, thank you
Thanks,
so much.
guys. All
Have a
right.
good day, everybody.